joined by NBA analyst extraordinaire, my guy, Slick Rick. But Marcellus, you up first. Should LeBron be confident in the Lakers roster?
No. Not confident in the roster as constructed currently. I tell you why. Because the last time we saw LeBron James without AD, he was an injured, no playoff king. I remind you, before AD became a Los Angeles Laker, that was the season for LeBron James. So now we're supposed to see LeBron James in love with a roster that is going to depend on now an injured AD, with an injury that they really can't get their finger on in terms of cause and effect. All right, we're supposed to believe that 36-year-old GOAT to me, LeBron James, the king, is now in a situation that he was in 2 years ago, but somehow, some way, this is going to lead to championship success. I tell you why it's not. Because there's been only one team to win the NBA championship in the season where it ranked outside top 20 in points per game. One, ever. And this team, the Lakers right now, are 21st, so they may be the second. But there's never been a team to ever win a championship when they're ranked outside the top 25 in three-pointers made. And this team is also, in today's new NBA, where everybody's jacking up threes, a team outside the top 25 in three-pointers made. So they're just not only defying history, but right now they can't even trust their present. So, sorry, LeBron, disagree with you. I don't think you're confident in this team as constructed.
I think LeBron should be confident, Sel, because the Lakers have questions. But the beautiful part about questions is every question got an answer.
Yeah.
For all the questions that we have about the Lakers right now, roster-wise, man, they need an athletic big. They can't shoot the three ball. They need a rim protector. LeBron needs help with somebody else who can take the load off him and score points. AD answers every single one of those questions. AD in the lineup, Lakers have a 74% win percentage. That's good for second in the NBA behind the Utah Jazz, a 75% win percentage. AD in the lineup, the Lakers were fifth in the NBA in three-point percentage. AD out of the lineup, they rank 25th. AD in the lineup, they have their rim protector, they have their athletic big, they have their number two, they have another guy who can run the pick and roll with LeBron James, they have another guy who can score points when LeBron James is on the bench. For every question we have about the Lakers without AD, as soon as you insert AD, those questions are resolved. So if I'm LeBron James, I should absolutely be confident, even without AD. We still currently have the fifth best record in the NBA. We still currently have the third best record in the Western Conference. Then with AD, we have the second best record in the NBA by 0.1 or by 1%. No worries, no issues. They just got to get healthy and they'll get right.
Acho, that was pretty strong. I almost felt like, yeah, you know what? What do we have to worry about? Like, what's the problem? Who should care about anything? Yeah, you know, the reality is, no, he should not be confident in this roster, nor do I believe that he is confident in this roster. He just knows what happens when you don't show confidence in your roster. That team falls apart, and I dare say when he looks at the options in improving this team, they aren't out there, at least not yet. There may be a robust buyout market before all is said and done. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, you make a good case that when AD was there, they did look like world beaters. But that's before we saw what the Brooklyn Nets were capable of. That's before we saw that the Philadelphia 76ers may be poised to take a step forward. It's before that we saw the Utah Jazz demonstrating what they have over the course of the first half of the season. The fact of the matter is, as Marcellus pointed out, this offense right now simply isn't good enough. It ranked way too low in overall offensive efficiency to be considered a true world beater. So there is reason for them, for LeBron in particular, not to be confident. If this was the same team coming back from last year, I could dismiss everything and say, you know what, it really counts. When the lights are brightest, this team has demonstrated that it can deliver. But there are far too many new pieces that they have not delivered on that stage that they are going to have to count on. And outside of Dennis Schroeder, I could point to every addition that they've made and say it has not been an upgrade from where they were a year ago.
Early church.
But here's what I heard, Slick. I
heard testifying right there.
He's a substitute preacher, the normal preacher.
Boy, I hate church when a substitute show up. Sorry, God.
Look, Slick,
What's this dude doing?
I'm not concerned about the Sixers with the career underachieving Doc Rivers when it comes crunch time. I'm just not. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm
The
sorry.
championship
I'm
coach?
sorry.
Championship coach?
I'm not concerned about the Utah Jazz come playoff time because I just don't think Donovan Mitchell is ready to ascend to the throne that King James currently resides on. Am I concerned about the Nets? A little bit.
Yeah, boy.
But like, Slick, if your biggest worries are the Sixers, if your biggest worries, Slick, are the Jazz, then what are we really worried about? If LeBron, my biggest worry isn't about anybody else.
Yeah.
My biggest worry is about AD. As soon as AD gets right, the Lakers are fine. But I'm worried about what the Lakers can control. I'm telling you right now, I'm not worried about nobody's Sixers. I'm not worried about nobody's Jazz come playoff time. Regular season, these Jazz go crazy. I'll put respect on their name. But come to playoff time, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Rudy Gobert, AD. I mean, come on, Slick. What we really talking about, my brother?
Ooh.
Yeah, no. It's a fair point, and it's why, in terms of my belief, is that the Lakers, as is, could still win a championship because I don't see that specific team out there that I would say, you know what, they're not better than that team. But nonetheless, looking at the Lakers as is, as Marcellus pointed out, they don't have the signature marks of a team that you look at and put that stamp of champion on them. Yes, maybe they are, but to me, they're in the mix. They have questions the same way Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Utah do.
That's the problem, man. You said it, Slick. It's a fair point by Acho, but it's a fair point in terms of cotton candy, Ferris wheels, and fantasy land because you just have to meet up to some of the metrics and measurables. This team is injured right now. That's a bad thing. This team turns the ball over too much, 25th in the NBA in terms of turnovers. This team doesn't have enough scores. Y'all keep laughing at these other teams, but every year it resets. The Jazz have 4 players that average over 15 points a game. The Nets have 3 players. The Celtics have 3 players. The 76ers have 3 players. The Bucks have 3 players. Lakers only have 2. And one of them is hurt, and one of them may be a little tired of the other one being hurt.